I'm out at the Domain Serene Summer Car Classic. A lot of times when you come to a car show, or if you're anywhere that's very, very popular, a lot of crowds, and you're trying to get a picture of something, it can be very, very difficult because people are always walking in and out of your photograph. So let's say you're trying to take a picture of the Washington Monument, or you're a statue in Italy, or a building, or even the Grand Canyon, and it's a very crowded, touristy part of the day, and there's people. So what do? You know, a lot of times you'll just take a snapshot and you'll end up with a lot of people in your photograph. But today, I'm going to show you an easy way in Photoshop to remove all the people that might get in the way of your shot. The only thing it'll take is a tripod and a little time. I've set up the camera on a tripod and we're taking a picture of this gorgeous Pantera. The idea is to put your camera into interval shooting mode. So you set it up, you get your composition set, you get your focus set, and then you basically tell it to take a photograph like every 4 or 5 seconds. And you take 40 or 50 shots because most people aren't going to stand there for that amount of time. So right now, my camera's all set up on the tripod, and you see there's people standing all around the car. And you could wait possibly forever for everybody to leave so you could get a clean shot, or you can do what we're doing. We're just taking a shot like every 5 seconds, and then once we get all of the photographs done, we will put those into Photoshop, and I'll show you how to make everybody vanish, and we'll get a totally clean shot of just the car. All right, so I've got the photos done. We're going to jump back into Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how to remove all those people. First thing is, when you get your photos into Lightroom, you want to edit the first one like you want them to all look, and then you want to sync them all together. Once you've got that done, what you want to do is browse through the photographs, and I had said like every 5 seconds to take a photograph. In this instance, there was a lot of people that were just gawking at the car. They were standing there for a much longer period of time than if they were just walking down the street. So I should have done like every 10 or 15 seconds, or maybe even 20 seconds, to give people time to actually move, because this doesn't work if people stand in the same place, and they are in the same place in every single photograph. So for instance, as I look through these, I'm looking for ones where their people are moving, and when I find one that I think is going to be a good fit, I will mark it with a star or whatever. And so you want to pick out a few photographs that are going to give you that movement so that Photoshop can figure this out. So in this case, I have like 5 photographs. You can use more if you feel like you need to, but it just really depends on how many people are in the frame that you might need, and you might have to just experiment with this. So I've got 5 shots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them, select the first one, then go to the last one and hold my shift key down and click again. This selects all of them. I can right click, and then I'm going to say edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. So here are my 5 photographs in Photoshop. The first thing I want to do is align those layers. So I'm going to select the first one, hold shift, select the last layer, so they're all selected. Go under edit, and then we're going to say auto align layers. Auto is fine, say okay. Now this was on a tripod, but I still, if there was any kind of movement, I want to account for that so that they line up as best as they possibly can. Once that's done, what we want to do is to turn these into smart objects. And what it's going to do is it's going to stack them into a single stack. So we'll right click on them, making sure they're all still selected, and then we will say convert to smart object. Once they're converted into smart object, you'll know because it has this little icon down here in the little thumbnail. Then there's really only one more step we need to do. What we'll do is we'll go under layer, and we're going to look for smart objects, stack mode, median, and then we'll click on that. And what it's going to do is Photoshop's going to take all of those photos that's in that stack, and it's looking for things that have changed or moved. And it's going to keep stuff that's present in all of the photographs, and it's going to remove stuff that is not in all of the photographs. And there it is. Now, this is not 100% perfect, but look, it's done a fantastic job compared to where we started. So to see where we came from, if you double click the little smart object icon here, Photoshop will open those up into the separate layers again. So these are the different layers that we started with. We've got all these people that were walking through our frame and moving around. And then we end up with this after we run it through. Now I'm going to zoom in and we'll see we got some artifacts right here that Photoshop, for whatever reason, just could not fix. And then we've got a little bit of some issues right in here as well. So what we can do to fix that, there are a couple different ways we can tackle this problem. So you might think, well, let's just use like content aware fill. So what I did was I just made a copy of the smart layers, the smart object, and then I rasterized it so that I could actually work on it. And I did that by just duplicating it and then right clicking on it and saying rasterize layer. So once that's done, I can actually do content aware fill. So if we try that, like on this area right here, I'll just select the area that we're working on that's kind of got an issue. And I go Shift F5, content aware fill, and see what happens. And it actually did a bad job. It actually looks pretty awful. If I zoom in, it's just not very good. So let's back out of that. And the way that I would do this, I would look at the area that I need to fix. So this area right over the roof of the car where the tent is. And then I would go back to the original files, and we'll turn them all on real quick. And I would go through and I'm looking for an area right in here that doesn't have many people or any people in it, right? So I'm going to go here and turn the eye off. Still people standing right there. Still people standing there. Nobody standing there. So that's the file that I want. So I would take this one and I would copy it by holding Shift down, dragging it over to the other window, then dragging it here and letting it go. And then it's going to put it on top. So this is the area that I'm interested in, is this right above the roof on the tent. As you can see, if I move this off, you can see that's our ugly area. Let me zoom in on it. This is our area that we are going to be fixing. So this is the layer that I just copied over. Not interested about over here, just right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a black layer mask. Hold Alt or Option, click the layer mask icon there, and it's going to hide the entire layer. So we're going to reveal just the parts that we want. Black conceals, white reveals. So here's the white is selected. I can toggle with my X key between black and white right over here. Make sure your brush is selected, just a normal brush, and 100% opacity, 100% flow, and I'm just going to paint very quickly. And boom, I have fixed that area 100%. I wanted to keep this video short, so I am not going to go through all of the layer masks that I had to add. I had to add 3 total, and then just do a black layer mask and then paint white where I needed it to show through. So that's how you go from a photograph that's just a snapshot with all these people in it to this, a very clean shot with nobody in it and just the car. If you liked the video, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up, and don't forget to click that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss a video that I release each and every Wednesday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.